Good morning, guys. I just wanted to start off with this picture. This is something that I've done. Yes, I'm also an artist, but anyways, horses, animals. What does that have to do with all of this ascension and event and awakening and getting with the program sort of thing? I thought today I would talk a little bit about what does the animal kingdom have to do with all of this? Where are they in this realm of things? And this past weekend, I went to a wonderful, beautiful workshop, equine bodywork workshop, and just such a heart connection. I mean, with the women, it was, I've been to workshops before, and the women just, it was just hard for everybody to get along. There was a lot of ego going on, and some insecurities and things like that, and a lot of projection going on. And this workshop was really good, and I was just able to step back and watch these women interact with the horse and watch the horse work with these women. These women were thinking that they were there helping the horse, and I think there was a little bit of give and take and sharing going on between the equine and the human. And Heart Math Institute, and I've said this before, they know that the horse's heart field is so large, 12 feet, and it probably goes way beyond that. We already know that. And their heart rate variable, because they live in a heart space, because they already have one hoof still connected to the creator, the source, the goddess, whatever you want to call it. So they are a whole different mechanism when it comes to beings on this planet. Yes, they are sentient beings. And there's more in that horse meat suit than what we think, because we have been programmed and hardwired by, you know what I'm talking about, to be separate from the animal kingdom. We come in here and we are the supreme being, we are the human. And so we are to be stewards of the animal kingdom. And I know so many Christian people who do not follow that at all. They exploit the animal kingdom. They look at them as they are here to serve us. We're supposed to take care of them just enough for them to sustain us, through food and transportation and filling up our egos and winning the ribbons and you know what I'm talking about. So, we have lost that connection through being hardwired and programmed that the animals are here to just serve us, but they serve us in a much different way, and people are waking up to that. And I do not get into this where a lot of the new age people are saying, well, animals are only 2D, they're only two-dimensional. And I do not get into that at all, because it's us rising up our vibration to meet their higher vibration. Because when we do that and we really start to look within the animal kingdom, when we take the time to look at them other than food source, clothing, financial gain through competition, filling our egos, when we step back from that and we look at them and go, what can I learn from you? And it is just amazing, the world that opens up to you. With me and my horses, they were the catalyst to where I am today. They were the ones that helped me with my healing path. And when you go on a healing path and you heal, you're who you truly are just emerges. And if all that programming and all that hardwiring falls away, and you don't look at them the same way, and you look at them as teachers. And from some of my past videos, I've had plenty of teachers, and they just catapulted me forward. And you dog people, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, look at all the stories that are all plastered all over YouTube about people rescuing dogs, and they bring them in their homes and they think that they've helped this dog, when in all actuality it is the other way around. Animals are already in their heart space, and they are coherent. And it is the human that is learning once again to live in their heart space. Heart space being coherent. What we are thinking and what we are feeling is the same thing. This is all part of the event. This is all part of the ascension process. We are all reconnecting with this heart. Our heart is its own little being within this physical body. It's a meter. It's how we can use emotion and feeling to see where the person standing in front of you is at. Your heart is telling you, well, this person has a good heart. Yes, that's why you have those soft, warm, fuzzy feelings when you're around some people. And then when you meet somebody that is non-coherent, their energy, their heart, their energy, their vibration is different than what they are trying to tell you. So your heart will kind of go, ooh, we're not really meshing here. My heart vibration is higher than yours, and you don't want to raise your heart vibration. You want to keep your vibration lower, and you're trying to lower mine. So your heart is having this conversation, and we feel this all the time. And so our heart is a great, today it's the bullshit meter. And so animals are great at that. Horses project back. They are mirrors to our heart coherence. There are so many programs out there that they're using the horse to help regulate and help people when they come to do any kind of emotional work. When they're in the company of a horse that is coherent, his heart is coherent, it regulates that person. So that person gets a feeling of what it is like to have their heart in a coherent state. And so they work with that when they go into these sessions, and it changes their whole molecular structure. And so they have a gauge. Oh, this is how I'm supposed to feel. So then they're giving exercises, how to connect with that when they're away from the horse. How they can use their heart. And if they're feeling stressed or they're feeling kind of out of it, they can use that exercise, and they can remember how they felt. They can go back to how they felt when they were working with that horse. And during the heart exercise, they can bring in that feeling, and then once again, put their heart back in a coherent state. This is just, this has been around for a long time, but people are now realizing, it's first get it in the head, and then feel it in the heart and feel it in the body, and actually integrate that information. So a lot of us are integrating this information, and we are going, aha, That's what it is. That's what I've been feeling. So once again, like I've said before, it is living through the heart and not the brain, because remember, the brain doesn't feel it. Brain just thinks. The brain doesn't emote. The heart is the one that emotes and feels emotions. And the heart is where we all should be interacting with each other with. And many of us, hey, you people out there with your heart in that coherent state, it's time to really integrate that and send that out. You know, so many of us say, let's send our energy, we're going to send our energy out and we're going to help Gaia. We really have to concentrate on where that energy is coming from. So we have to be more responsible about the energy that we're using. And so we really need to focus more on that heart state, sending out that heart, the heart energy. I mean, the heart field is, it's just where it's at, people. And the more we are coherent, heart coherent, we are feeling what we are thinking, the more our intuition grows and develops. That's the seed of the intuition right there. So if you're having problems, I just can't get my thoughts together, my intuition's been off, I would like to really develop my clairsentience, my clairaudience, my claircognizance, all of that, tongue twisters there. It's an indication, if you're having trouble with that, it's an indication of where your heart is at. So you're coherent. Even though you're thinking that you're in this great state of mind, your heart is saying something differently. So it's very important these days. And the animal kingdom, we are just, a lot of us are bypassing that. And, so many people are, I'm such an animal lover. I'm such an animal lover. They're trying to ride that wave, but then they act differently than what they're saying. They might go home and kick their dog. They might forget to feed their horse. They still look at their horse as just a vehicle. Oh, I love my horse. I hear this all the time from women. Well, I just love my horse. I just love my horse. And I, see the horse, when you're done trail riding it and it still has the saddle. You can see where the saddle was on its back and where they sweated. They didn't even bother to brush the dirt off their back after the horse, carried their ass all the way around the trail. I see this all the time. And I even saw this at a workshop. Here we are this weekend giving these horse owners freebie body work for their horses. And the first day or the second day, we went back and worked on a lot of these horses again. Some of these horses came in still with saddle marks on them. So there's just no gratitude anymore. Some of these people are just not in a state of gratitude. And that's another thing that we have to work on. And so we really need to step back and look at the animal kingdom, what we eat, what we put in our mouth, people who say that they love their horse are just saying they love riding their horse. They love controlling their horse. They love competing with their horse and winning the ribbons. And when they're done with competition, the horse goes in its stall and they really could care, not everybody. I know there's not everybody, but a majority, look at the horse racing world. How many of them go to slaughter? And it's so sad that we have to have thoroughbred makeover competitions now, like the Mustang makeover competition, because the thoroughbreds are a byproduct. Once they're not winning, or if they don't want to run, just because they're bred to run doesn't mean that they want to run. If they're not wanting to run, they're a byproduct. So they go to slaughter. There's people out there who are taking these horses in and rehabbing them so they can be used for something else. And it's just like the Mustang. There are groups that do the same thing, and those are the happy, lucky Mustangs. Most of them end up at slaughter. So, for so many of us to hide our heads about what's going on and not get involved with the PETA groups or the Humane Society groups, the rescue groups, and saying, I'll just leave it to them, you are not working in a coherent heart. So the animals, like I said, they help us get in that coherent state. I mean, we hear about it all the time. Oh, if you have a dog, you live longer. It boosts your immune system. Older people, if they come in and work with dogs or they work with the equine, it boosts their self-esteem once again. And if we have a low self-esteem, what is that saying where our heart is at? So I just say, for people who are saying that animals are still just living here in the second dimension, they're way off base. And those people are losing out on such growth and such expansion. And so let's just get out there and let's improve who we are. Let's use the animal kingdom to help get us in that coherent heart state, and so we can spread it to the other person that lives in the house with us. Because if you are doing your work, you are a strong person and you are in a good coherent state. It's very difficult for that person who is in the lower coherent state to change yours to a lower coherent state. So if you are out there and you're just a normal person and you don't know anything about this ascension and event stuff, and you have a good heart coherent state, it's up and down, it's up and down, it's up and down. You'll be good, and then you'll be out there in the crowd, and these people with the non-coherent state will drag you back down. And that's why you say, I can't walk around in shopping malls. I can't be with crowds. I have to live up in the mountains like I do, so it's because you're not really, it's just because you need to be more aware. You need to work a little bit more on yourself to strengthen your coherent state so that you can do the opposite. When you're in company of people with that lower coherent state or non-coherent state, you can help them get into a state of coherence. And I mean, this is huge. I mean, with all these energy waves that are coming in, it is working on our heart centers. And we talk about this all the time, but we really haven't been feeling it or integrating it. But we're noticing it more and more and more. And kudos to HeartMath Institute for really working hard and really bringing this to forefront. There's a lot of things, it's like, okay, it's like this. It's like when you work with emotions and you have a trapped emotion and you work with somebody to bring this trapped emotion up out of the subconscious mind. What the subconscious mind is 90% of who we are, and the conscious mind is only 10% of who we are. And so, bringing this information to the conscious level is really, really catapulting all of this event and ascension stuff. So the people who are sitting around and waiting and going, oh, we're going to be saved, and they have their ups and downs, a lot of it is because of your heart state. It is your heart rate variable is erratic. And so we need to all be more mindful, is what I'm saying. Let's be more mindful. Let's bring this heart center, this being within us, to our conscious level. And let's really, really work with that. And let's strengthen that. And, that's another way that we're going to win this war, is through love. I mean, everybody says it. Oh, it's all through love. It's all through love. And a lot of us are walking around, well, I don't feel it. I know it, but I'm not feeling it. And how do I feel? How do I feel that? Well, you start working with your heart center. And there's a lot of meditations. And, Heart Math Institute, if you go to heartmath.org, I believe it is, they have some really fast meditations, really quick meditations to help you check in with your heart. And they even sell some toys that you can use. You can plug into your ear, and you can check and see where your heart state is at, and then you can practice and practice. And the more you practice and the better you get, the better your heart stays in this coherent state. And this is what horses teach us. This is what your dogs, your cats, this is what the animal, the animal kingdom teaches us. I would say more the domestic animals, because they are closer to us. They're living with us. It's kind of changed with the animal kingdom. They're coming in. I want to go in and I want to help humanity. And this is how I want to do it. I want to help them, get them in a coherent state of heart, not a coherent state of mind, a coherent state of heart. That's what my weekend was all about. And I mean, it was just fantastic. Some of these horses, they needed help because of their years and years and years of abuse. I mean, if you were out and you were working with people and they were just not getting it and they were shitting on you day after day after day, it just does. It brings you down. It puts you in a state of non-coherence. And that's what some of these horses were up against. And we noticed that a few of them were shut down. And it was kind of like when you work with them, it's like they didn't care what you did. You could have shot them in the head. They would have stood there and took it. They were there. Okay, we would say the lights were on, but nobody was home. They were not in their bodies. And because of the pain and in living with the human world, they are not humans. They are much different than humans, and humans are trying to put these horses in their world, and it's just causing them a lot of pain. And except for the ones that have coherent heart owners, they were much better. But so we were really, and it was funny because the end of the weekend, when the instructor was, talking and thinking and, just going through some notes, there was a lot of emotional moments, and some women were expressing it, and they were, the tears were flowing. And that's because the horses that we were working on were still standing around us, and they were so grateful and thankful for us to actually take time out of our lives and saying, hey, we can change our heart state, and we're going to help you, and we're going to learn from you, and we're going to learn about gratitude and love. And so their heart states, their coherent heart states were so strong that it was changing ours. And even though those women weren't understanding what was going on, I was sitting back and watching and going, yeah, I know exactly what's going on. And it was fascinating. And everybody left with warm, fuzzy feelings, and everybody was wanting to stay connected. So, this is just a part of what animals can do to us. And we have to stop. We have to stop, really, people. Some that are still on this ascension path think, oh no, we still need to eat animals, and we don't need to have to worry about them, and they're still living in the second dimension. They still got some work to do. And you can tell me, you can argue with me all you want, how we treat animals and how we raise them for food, and the horrible things that they have to go through. They're putting out that they're putting out that adrenaline, that hormone, that energy into the world. And their hearts are, of course, non-coherent. And the people that are around them that have to deal with them, their hearts are in a state of non-coherence. So they're passing that along to everybody that they go and interact with. So really, it is not really helping us. And so, you know, I say go out and rescue a dog. Go out and be part of one of the assisted equine therapy programs and ask them how to get in your heart coherent state. There's just so many animals out there that are willing to help us, and they're waiting for this moment. They're waiting for this moment. And yes, maybe when you bring them home, at first the journey is a little rough and it's a little tough, but it is a test to us. It is a test of us. You need to get in a coherent state so you can pass that on to them. They are teaching us. You know, we have to learn and figure out what it is. How can we help this animal? Not just feeding it and giving it home isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. There's something more. So they're helping us to look within ourselves and figure out other ways of connecting and other healing modalities. And when we start getting into that realm, that healing modality realm, it just gets our intuition that much, it just developing that much more. So I think you get the gist of what I'm talking about today. And, you know, things are changing and the world is changing. Yes, there's still a lot of out there, but like we said, it is a choice. You have a choice of what you want to belong to. And if you think you are still in this ascension world, but things are still hard, I think most of us have gone through a lot of the ascension pains. And, you know, I think a lot of us have gone past that. But if we're still having a little bit of hard time, we have to really look at how we're treating this planet, how we're treating the animals, what we're putting in our mouth, where our heart state is about all of this. I think that's the last leg of this ascension. So that's all I have to say, guys. And I'm going to go meet a friend today, and we're going to go play with our horse friends and see if we can work more with the heart coherence. So talk to you soon.